Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we're going to restore a Hot Wheels Fire Chief Cruiser. Now this car was produced in 1970, and it was only produced in the United States. You can only get it with a white interior, but there were two shades of red Spectre Flame paint that you could get this car in. Now there is a really rare version where it is painted red enamel. But to the knowledge that I have found on the internet, the one in the red enamel has never been found in a blister pack. It's still extremely rare, but it's the only way it's been found is outside the blister pack. It is believed to have been a prototype only. This car's got some definite wear and tear on it, and a lot of the things are worn out. And we've got our work cut out for us, but I think we can definitely restore this car back to its former glory. It's got some good bones and it's in pretty good shape overall, but we got our work cut out for us for sure. Let's get started. I've already drilled out the posts. Let's go ahead and take the car apart here. There we go. Body's got a lot of flea bites and there's a lot of wear in the paint. There's definitely some toning underneath. In some of the areas of the car have got some dents and a little bit of wear on the edges, so we'll have to address those and file them down and take care of them as best we can. The base is in really good shape. It's just tarnished. The wheels definitely need to be replaced, and it needs to be polished up. Maybe redo the tail lights on that thing. The blue globe is in pretty good shape if I don't lose the darn thing. It just needs to be cleaned up. Unfortunately, the window is cracked, and to my knowledge they don't make replacements, so we're just going to have to glue it together and do the best with it that we can. The interior is in pretty good shape. It just needs to be cleaned up and with some soap and water and a toothbrush. Let's put the body in some citrus strip. Mostly I've found out that the citrus strip will take off old red line paint with no problem whatsoever. Even if I'm doing the same colors over again, I will try and remove all the paint from the inside and the outside of the car. That's enough. Let's go ahead and continue. Once we got the car out of the paint stripper, we buffed it up and shined it up, and it turned out pretty good. Now we're just blowing the dust off the car. We're going to put a nice tack coat on. Real slow, go around the car and just put a light mist coat over the entire car. Try and get your hard to reach areas first. Now I'll try and paint the entire length of the car so I don't have buildup for areas that I cross more than once, if you know what I mean. Just put those light tack coats on there, and once we get that, we're going to let it sit for a few moments and tack up before we continue on with the heavier coats.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
We've let it set up for a bit. Now we can go ahead and put on some heavier coats. The red paint does a really good job of covering up any imperfections, but this car polished up really well. While I was at it, I went ahead and filed down some of the rough areas on the car, and I think this paint job is going to turn out real nice. You just have to keep on moving as you're spraying, and don't build up too much paint in one area. As you build up the layers of paint, you're going to see that the Spectre Flame paint will really start to put a really nice shine on your car. This is looking super nice. We're going to let that set overnight when the painting is done so we can get it nice and dry and get ready to put the decals on that we need to. That's looking real nice. Alright, let's put it in the cabinet so the dust doesn't get on it, and let's work on the base of the car. Now we're going to clean the base. Here we've got the base of the Cruiser. We're going to put it in a mixture of lime away and water, a 50-50 mixture. This will help remove the tarnish off the base. Now when you put it in there, you just want enough in there to cover up the base so it soaks away that tarnish. You should start to see bubbles on there right away. Here you go, zoom in a little bit. You only want to leave it in there for approximately 3 to 4 minutes, and you got to keep a good eye on it, because if you leave it in there too long, it will turn the base black. It'll stain it chemically. And once you do that, you're going to have a very hard time getting the stains out of that metal. So watch it really close. We'll go ahead and time it here, and then we'll be back in just a moment. So after about 4 minutes, this is what it looks like. It's bubbling pretty fierce now, you can see there. But we're going to take it out. Make sure you wear a safety glove because it is a strong chemical. And we're going to use this brass brush and we're going to scrub it down to remove the tarnish. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos. Make sure you cover all the area. Now the Lime Away and water mixture does not hurt plastic parts. I left the old tires on there because I didn't want it to get the brush to get caught on the little wires holding the bearings on. We'll remove the tires here in just a little while. Go ahead and scrub it down. Once you get all the areas clean, then you're going to need to rinse it off with warm water and scrub it down with some soap and a toothbrush, and that will get it nice and clean. Just make sure you get all the areas there. That's looking pretty good. Get all the areas around the tail lights and the headlights, etc. This is going to look really nice when it's done. Just rinse it off a little bit. Look how nice that turned out. Alright. Now we're going to replace the tires. Here we got 4 medium tires, same size all the way around. Got those at the Redline shop. And we're going to use this tire tool to go ahead and help put it on. Actually, it's an adjustment tool for the axles. Make sure you put your thumb on either side of the tire and then push with equal pressure to remove the tire. If it feels like there's anything giving, or if it feels like it's going to bend, or if there's a lot of slop in the axle or the bearing, make sure you cut that tire off, because unless you've got replacement parts here, this is not going to work for you. Just be real careful and you'll be able to feel the tire if it's really sloppy. Now we'll go ahead and put the new tires on. Sometimes you can squeeze them on just a little bit before you use that tool that you're going to put on the axles. Just don't put them on too hard, because if you do, you're liable to bend the axle or snap the bearing off, and you don't want to do that. That's looking pretty good. Now take the tool there with that little notch in it and put it between the bearing and the base of the car on the wire axle. Here you go. Use your thumb with equal pressure and push until the bearing is seated inside the tire. Just repeat this all the way around the car. Now there may be some bearings that you might not be able to get that little tool in there. Don't force it in there. Just push it on with your thumb and be careful. Fortunately, I could get that tool in all 4 tires there. There you go, push it on with your thumb. That's looking pretty good, and they're not bent out of shape too bad, so that's nice. That base is ready to go. Get your tires and your adjustment tool there at the Redline shop. Good stuff. Let's move on. Now I'm going to put the decals on. I'm going to use a little bit of micro set, and I'm going to cover the surface area where I'm going to put the decal. This helps the decal adhere better to the vehicle, and it also helps soften the decal so it will bend around objects like door jambs, door handles, etc. Of course, you want to trim the decal as close as you can to the area that you're putting it in, so you don't have too much extra clear decal area that you got to clear coat over anyways. But it works better if you trim it as close as you can. Soak the decal in water for about 10 to 15 seconds, and it usually comes off really easy. That's nice. Yeah, it just lays down nicer. Once you get the decal in the area you want, go ahead and use a Q-tip or a paper towel and blot off the excess moisture. But try and smooth it out as best you can. Here's some more micro set for the decal on the back trunk. Or as the Brits say, the boot. There we go, micro set. Good stuff. Now if you have decals you want to remove that you put on, it can also be used to soften up the decal to take it off. So it's good stuff. Now of course that's going to be tough if you've already clear coated over the decal. So it's not going to work for something like that. Here you go. I recommend using a set of tweezers to help you here. Use that Q-tip to take off any of the excess fluid. And then position the decal where you want it. That's looking good. Now that I've got the decals in place, I'm going to go ahead and clear coat the car. I've let the decals set for approximately 8 hours. I want to make sure they're completely dry. Now I'm going to clear coat the entire car just to make sure that the decals are sealed on the car. I use clear coat that I got from the Redline shop. You mix it with hardener and it works fantastic. If you follow the directions, there's no reason whatsoever that your car won't come out nice and shiny and completely protected with a good hard finish. Now we've got all the pieces together. We got the interior. I cleaned it out with soap and water and a toothbrush. Here's the windshield all polished up. I had to repair the crack in the top. Fortunately, it didn't go down into the window itself. The little blue dome, that's good. We cleaned that up. The base looks fantastic. I went ahead and detailed the tail lights in the back, polished up the base. That looks really nice. And put new tires all the way around. Did a good job on that one. Now the body. We cleaned it down, we polished it up, we painted it, we put decals on it, and we clear coated it again. All we need to do now is put it all back together and do our reveal. And this is what we started with. An old police cruiser, or excuse me, a fire cruiser. This car is a really nice car. It had some really good bones to it. A lot of paint missing on here. The tires are worn out. The base was tarnished. Once we got it apart, the windshield was cracked. It was in rough shape. But we went through, we cleaned it, we polished it, we painted it, we put new decals on it, and we clear coated it and brought it back to its former glory. And here's what we got to. A beautifully restored Hot Wheels cruiser with the beautiful shiny red Spectraflame paint from the Redline shop. The aftermarket Redline wheels completes the restoration on this car. With the additional details, the shining up of the windshield, the blue dome, and the polishing of the base, this car turned out absolutely fantastic, and I'm very proud of it. Now, there are many reasons I got into restoring Hot Wheels and customizing these cars, etc. Well, one of the reasons was Paul at Fat Guy Productions. Paul Udelis. Thank you, my friend. This car is for you. I'm going to send this car to Paul at Fat Guy Productions. He's one of the reasons I got into doing this hobby, and I love watching his builds. He's a fantastic guy and a good friend. Like I said, my friend, this car is for you, and I hope you enjoy it, and I know you will. This is for all of the years he has spent on the fire department serving our cities and our country. Now I have a Patreon page. I'd like to thank Chris Smith, Jim Silva, who has a YouTube page, check him out, Stacy Wright, Daryl Begtel, very new member there, Aaron Murphy, and William K. 7 Robinson. Please sign up for my Patreon page and become a member of the Diecast Graveyard team. Details will be in the comment section and how you can become a member. I want to thank you today for joining me here at Diecast Graveyard. I had a fantastic time restoring this car. I got a lot more videos coming out in the future. Please leave your comments in the comment section down below. Thanks for joining me here today. Cheers.